The Oregon Employment Department has released job figures for the month of September. State employment economist Gail Krumenauer is here to tell us more.
In September, Oregon's unemployment rate was 8%, and employers added 5,100 jobs to payrolls. That marks 5 consecutive months of improvements in both the unemployment rate and in jobs added in the state. Still, Oregon remains significantly higher in terms of its unemployment rate and lower in terms of overall employment than it was heading into the COVID-19 pandemic.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the unemployment numbers?
One thing that stands out about the unemployment numbers is the differences in the unemployment rates for men and women. Women have been experiencing higher unemployment rates both in Oregon and in the U.S. During the COVID-19 recession. In September, the unemployment rate for women in Oregon was 9.6%. That's compared with 6.7% for men.
Switching gears to jobs, which were the industries most impacted in September?
For each of the last 5 months, we've seen leisure and hospitality add the most jobs. And that was true again in September when the industry added 2,600 jobs. Again, we know that leisure and hospitality was the most impacted industry. And so even with these consecutive months of gains, leisure and hospitality is still only added back a little over half of the jobs that it lost in March and April. Retail trade has also bounced back quite a bit, more so in some areas like garden supply stores and food and beverage stores, and less so in clothing retail, which has declined in recent months.
Taking this all together, how do these numbers fit into the bigger picture?
The bigger picture, both for Oregon and the U.S., is that we're continuing to see these improvements. The pace of them is slowing, though. So while we continue to see jobs added, we're 8 months into the COVID-19 recession, and Oregon's added back just a little bit less than half the jobs that it lost in March and April alone. So we do continue to see improvements, but we see it slowing. And while we are seeing some industries that are bouncing back, like leisure and hospitality and retail trade, there are other industries that aren't. Manufacturing is a notable example. It has lost jobs in recent months, and it's not bouncing back. Manufacturing employment is down by about 18,000 jobs compared to where it was last year, and it's widespread across all parts of the sector, from food manufacturing to metals and wood products.
Here's a question specifically geared towards Oregon. How did the wildfires in September play into September's job figures?
We did see a little bit of impact reported from construction employers, and construction was down over the month by about 2,600 jobs. There wasn't a huge impact in terms of unemployment, though. One interesting thing that did happen is there was a tremendous spike in the number of people who usually work full-time, but reported that they were at work part-time for a non-economic reason, something like bad weather. So that's something that we saw in the data as a temporary interruption, but not as a layoff or a permanent job loss, at least in these initial estimates.